Good morning. Let's try it again. Good morning. There we go. Welcome to First Parish Brewster. This seems very loud. Does this seem very loud to you all? Yeah, okay, great. We are a Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregation of people of diverse philosophies and beliefs, people of various cultures and races, sexual orientations, gender identities, abilities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your path, may this be a place of rest and restoration on your journey. I'm Reverend Jessica Clay, the minister of this congregation. Happy to be welcoming you to the service today with our Lifespan Religious Education Director, Twinks Hastings, our worship associate, Margaret Rice Moyer, and our guest musician, David Sutherland. Our services are recorded and available on our YouTube channel midweek. We do ask that all over the age of 4 mask while in our buildings. Please silence your cell phones at this time. We ask that all wear their name tags or fill out the sticker name tags in an effort to be more welcoming. We also welcome the noises, movement, and mirth that little ones bring to our services. Our services are 60 to 75 minutes long. If you need to leave before then, you're welcome to use the doors at the rear of the sanctuary. For those of you who may be first-time visitors this morning, welcome. Are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves? We will bring a mic to you. All righty. Well, welcome visitors. If you'd like to learn more about First Parish Brewster, please fill out a welcome card found in the back of the pew in front of you and place it in the offertory basket. If you're new to our congregation and want to learn more about First Parish and the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the membership committee is offering short, topical information sessions on the third Sunday of each month aimed at visitors and others new to our community. Join us after coffee at 11:30 a.m. in that back corner of the sanctuary for 30 to 45 minutes. At the session today, Twinks Hastings, our Lifespan Religious Education Director, will provide an overview of lifespan religious exploration at First Parish Brewster. You're welcome to attend any or all of the orientations. No sign-up is necessary. Welcome on this morning, which we make sacred by our presence together. A big welcome to people streaming. We're glad you're here. Let's give them a wave. And if you're streaming, go ahead and get some bread handy, just a piece of bread or a cracker or something like that. In community news announcements, we are doing signups again this Sunday at coffee hour for Dine Around with Us, spelled UUs. And that will provide a fun way to get to know each other in small groups by sharing a potluck dinner in a home once a month for 4 months. And these start in January, so please do sign up. There's a couple more weeks to sign up. Also this month, you can support the Wampanoag Food Pantry, bring groceries to church, or buy grocery store food cards designated for the pantry between now and Sunday, December the 4th. Your Social Justice Committee will deliver your gifts the first week in December, and please leave them in the parish room. You can also send a check to the church office with Wampanoag Food Drive in the memo. How many of you woke up this morning with questions? Okay, I see a couple of definitive hands and a couple of chuckles. We have some of these answers. All are invited to a Q&A session with members of your board, staff, and various committees. Come and get your questions answered on Sunday, December the 4th at 11:30 a.m. in our sanctuary. Next Sunday, you're invited to join Reverend Michael Hall and worship associate Elenita Muniz as they lead a service on the random things in life. So often we tell ourselves that there must be a meaning for things that happen in our life and world. Many faith traditions look to a deity who ultimately has a plan for absolutely everything. This can be very difficult for those of us who don't have the surety of God, considering all the unnecessary things that happen in the world. Reverend Michael Hall will speak to another possibility, that things are just random, haphazard, and ruled by chance as they appear. All are welcome at 10 a.m. Following the service today, everyone is invited to the parish room for mask-optional coffee and conversation, or you're welcome to socialize in the sanctuary with masks on. And who likes coffee hour? What's important in coffee hour? Coffee. Coffee. What's the second thing? Coffee. What's the second thing? Food. Who brings the food? People. We need some people to sign up for to bring food for coffee hours in the next couple of months. You will find the signups in the parish room. So people do like to snack, especially the kids like to snack. So let's keep that hospitality flowing, and please do sign up to bring food for coffee hour. Welcome to our service today. It is so good to be together.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam. Admit that the waters around you have grown. Accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pens, keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. Don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the halls. For those who've seen the hurt have been sickened by your gall. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast. The present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be fast. For the times they are a-changing. Yes, the times they are a-changing.
Wow, thanks. When Kurt Joost created his anti-war ballet, The Green Table, in 1932, it was a vivid, horrific visual expression of old white men politicians and military making endless wars around a green table. There are tables and there are tables. When I first saw the ballet performed by the American Ballet Theatre in 2005, I was considerably shaken. I have never forgotten it. The starkness of the green table, harshly lit from above, as those around it performed their bellicose and gross gestures, leading to devastating results, while the hapless victims of what was to come crouched under the table, and the war profiteer danced his victory dance. There are tables, and there are tables. This morning's worship brings us closer to a different kind of table, one in which we can love and honor each other, where we can work at loving despite wounds, where forgiveness has room to arrive, where the miraculous might just be possible, and where finally all kinds of people are welcomed. Such a table requires a great deal of work, both self-work and system-changing work. There are tables, and there are tables. The table we long to sit at is one in which our past sins are named, that we understand how the story of the first Thanksgiving has been told incorrectly because of who has told that story. There is still, however, a place for us to gather. We are here for a finite time. Let the meals we share be about our gratitudes, our love for each other, our blessings, be they few or many. There are tables, and there are tables. This morning, we light our chalice with the knowledge that all gatherings have a measure of complexity. In the midst of many people, there may be loneliness. In the heart of an adult, a hurt child may still linger. In our minds, memory and reality may push up against each other. We may want more, but may we be satisfied with less. For this day and the holiday we create for ourselves in the coming week, may we feel ourselves seated at the welcome table, not just one of these days, but on all days.
Many of you know that today is Transgender Day of Remembrance. So we light a candle for the 32 lives lost so far this year. We light this candle with the knowledge that we are called to work for a world where transgender people are welcomed and seen as beloved and are not scared for their safety as they move in the world. Also, this year I have seen some posts online of people wanting to rename this day Transgender Day of Resilience, a reminder of their resilience, a reminder of their joy that they carry, a reminder that the strength they carry within themselves is something to be celebrated and beloved. please rise in body or spirit for hymn number 1010. We give thanks. It's in your teal hymnal. We're going to sing it through 2 times and remain risen for our affirmation. Louder.
Join me, please, in the unison affirmation. We believe in love. Love is the doctrine of this church. We believe in truth. The quest for truth is its sacrament. We believe in helping others. And service is our prayer. We believe in the sacredness of life, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine.
I'm going to invite our children and our youth. We have some of our middle school youth here this morning, up for our time for all ages. Y'all can sit on the carpet here so you can see me. Hi, buddy. Okay. Did anyone celebrate the holiday that was yesterday? No? Did any of you celebrate? Oh, come on. It was National Play Monopoly Day. Just me? I'm actually not allowed to play Monopoly with my family anymore, or most of my friends. But yesterday was Play Monopoly Day, and that was an exciting holiday. Okay, is anyone excited for tomorrow's holiday? What holiday is tomorrow? No one? Tomorrow is Odd Sock Day. This is another favorite of mine. Other than Sundays, because Sundays, I usually wear odd socks. So anytime you see me in the week, you can check my socks out. So I love Odd Sock Day. And then, does anyone know what other holiday is this week? Thanksgiving, I guess, but there's an even better holiday, well, in my opinion, this week, and that's National Floss Your Teeth Day. That's on the 25th, so you want to put that one in your diary. And we also have International Cake Day. If you know me, you know that's a good one.
Is that when we have cake and coffee hour?
That's when we have cake at coffee hour. Yes, excellent. Who's baking cakes for International Cake Day? No volunteers? Anyone here? Good cake baker?
No, we have them
Oh, we have them?
already.
Oh, perfect. And my other favorite holiday this week is called Wolfenoot. Does anyone know Wolfenoot? This is like, yeah, Liz Libby is a celebrator. This is how I found out about Wolfenoot. This is a more legit holiday, and it was started by a boy in Oklahoma, maybe? Somewhere. And he figured that we needed a holiday to celebrate our dogs. So on Wolfenoot, the spirit of the wolf comes and leaves little gifts for you at night, and then you eat meat and potatoes. Hello. That talks to my Scottish soul. Meat and potatoes. And then I think you howl at the moon. It's a great holiday. So I'm sharing all of these holidays because sometimes we celebrate different holidays depending on where we grew up or where we were born. And sometimes we don't know about the holidays that other people celebrate. So you all know I was born and grew up in Scotland. So we celebrate in November. I kind of love November because it was Halloween. Then we celebrate Guy Fawkes Night, which is not a holiday you celebrate here. So on the 5th of November, my first year here, I was like, where are the fireworks? No fireworks. Then we rolled into my birthday. Then we roll into Advent and Christmas and all of these things. But there was a holiday here in between that called Thanksgiving, and I had never heard of it because we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Scotland. Maybe there was a parade I might have heard of in like Friends, the TV show, right? There was the Thanksgiving parade, so I knew about it sort of, but it wasn't a holiday that we ever celebrated. And so sometimes I think with holidays that we get really caught up in our story of them or how we celebrate them. So when I first moved here, it was really hard for me on Easter that at church we didn't roll boiled eggs down the hill out front, because at my church, when I grew up in Scotland, that was our Easter tradition. And I tried it with the youth group one year, and they all indulged me, but they talk about it to this day. Now they're all 25 and 26. They're like, remember when you made us roll hard-boiled eggs down a hill? I'm like, yes, I do. So I think when we talk about holidays, we have to remember that just because they're our holidays or we celebrate them, they're not global holidays. And Thanksgiving is a holiday that has a couple of different stories attached to it, right? So Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving, often, if you ask your parents or your grandparents, I bet they can all tell you about a play they were in at school. Am I right? Right? Some of you were pilgrims. Some of you played Native American people, right? And you had to do these plays. Have you all done a Thanksgiving play at school? Is that still something? No? Yes? Maybe? Kinda? I certainly have gone to see a few over the years here. And we have this story about what the first Thanksgiving looked like, but it's kind of told from the pilgrims' point of view, right? The story is told from the pilgrims who arrived here, and the helpful Wampanoag people gave them food, and they had this big celebration. But there's another way to tell this story, and if you tell this story from the voice of the native people, from the Wampanoag people, or other tribes who were around about at that time, there's some different ways to tell this story. And often, when you tell this story from the pilgrim point of view, it was like we had this big feast, and then you don't hear about what happened or where the native people went from there, right? Where's the rest of the history? Where did they go? And so there's a lot of unpacking to be done around the way we tell the Thanksgiving story. And there's also, I was reading about this because I wanted to talk about it in this time for all ages. There's also a lot of different ways the story is told depending on which tribe you came from or what the perspective was for the different native people at that time. So there is a lot of histories and a lot of stories, and I'm not going to share any of those stories because they're not mine to tell, but I really encourage everyone to read a bit more into how this holiday is viewed from different perspectives. But one thing I want to share is for this Thanksgiving, myself and some friends are going to go to Plymouth because there is a day of mourning in Plymouth, and the local Wampanoag folks there have invited people to come if they would like to. But they're very clear that this is not a demonstration or a protest, but we are welcome to go to witness their day of mourning, and they're going to give speeches and talk about their histories and why this time of year is sad for them. And they are fasting for that time, so whilst we're all thinking about what's going to be on our Thanksgiving tables, they're thinking about fasting and praying and being in that holy space. So I'm going to join them in that until the day of mourning. And this started because 350 years, or the anniversary of 350 years of Thanksgiving, they invited one of the people from the Wampanoag tribe to come, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts did, to make a speech at Thanksgiving. And then when they read his speech, they were not happy with what he had written, and they said he could no longer participate in the celebration. And so now the Wampanoag people have their own day of mourning at Plymouth Rock, and that's how that all started. So with that, we're going to sing our children out, and we're going to sing our children out.
Will you join me in a moment of prayer? I invite you to settle into your seat, cast your eyes down or close them. If you have something in your hands, set it down. Holy One, one who goes by many names, mysterious thread that connects us all in this space and connects us to those watching online, connects us to our wider communities. We lift up our hearts this morning. We lift up all the things that are on our hearts as we head into this holiday week. We lift up the stress and anxiety from continuing to live in a pandemic. We lift up the grief and loss that may be present at tables that are changed this year. With each holiday, we remember all the holidays past. We lift up all of the complicated feelings those can bring. We lift up our hearts this morning and pray that we may continue to work for justice for people with marginalized identities, working to counter oppressions in the world, working to bend the arc towards justice. Help us to continue to commit to that each day with each breath. And with the holidays, often it brings stress, especially if you are the one hosting, or it brings family dynamics, things you can't talk about around the table. We lift up all of those complicated feelings into this space this morning. And we pray that if we get triggered this week, we may be reminded to take the balcony view. That we may be reminded that what binds us to each other is love. To go towards that love. To let go of being right and to stay in relationship with those we love. And help us to go towards that love for ourselves as well. To be gentle and caring with ourselves as we move through this week. Help us to go towards grace, towards taking time to go outside and take in a breath of fresh air. To be reminded of the beauty and impermanence in life. Help us to hold all these things, and help us to hold moments of joy when they come, unbidden. Help those to warm our hearts. For all of these things we pray. Amen.
Perhaps the World Ends Here by Joy Harjo. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table, we gossip, recall enemies, and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth at this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table, we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite.
Each week we have a practice of splitting our offertory plate. Half of what's collected goes to the work of First Parish Brewster, and half goes to an organization nominated by one of you. This morning's offering is a split plate with Trust. Trust, which stands for Transgender Religious Professional You Use Together, is an organization of trans Unitarian Universalists living out a call to ministry within Unitarian Universalism. Its mission is to advocate for the gifts, safety, liberation, and leadership of trans religious professionals in Unitarian Universalist ministries and institutions. There's a couple of ways you can give today. You can text to give, the number's in your order of service. You can place a check or cash in the offertory basket, or you can also give online. However you choose to give, we thank you for your generosity. The offertory will now be gratefully received.
I would invite you to join in on the chorus to this song. You all know it, or most of you know it.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn. A time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. and a time to every purpose under heaven. Thank you.
And during the month of November, I ask the ushers to bring the offertory up front so we can sing a song of gratitude. So if you can, oh, Tom has it, great, thank you. From you I receive, we'll just sing it a cappella. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Thank you. Unitarian Universalist bread, a recipe from Reverend Dan Schatz, makes unlimited servings. Ingredients:
3 to 5 cups mixed flour. Your blend may vary, depending on the place, the day, the time. Spelt, wheat, white, and rye, corn, rice, quinoa, and chickpea flour all work, as does every other, enriched or simple. This recipe is best when many flours come together.
1 cup of seeds, carriers of the past, seasoning though not the substance, seeds of hope, of justice, of community. Give each loaf unique flavor, texture, interest, but do not limit the shape of what's to come.
1/4 cup nuts, use with caution. Some people are allergic. And good bread stays well grounded, but the rich flavor of fresh nuts will add wonder, creativity, possibility, and laughter. Sometimes you need a little nuttiness for the sheer joy of it.
1.5 teaspoons of salt, because tears are real, because heartbreak, arguments, grieving, and hurt are real, because forgiveness is real, because without the saltiness of truth, bread becomes weak.
2 tablespoons brown sugar, sweetness for balance. Song and celebration and children's faces, gifts of heart and unexpected blessing.
1/4 cup of vegetable oil, wisdom to flow through it all. Strength and flexibility will give the crust a healthy crisp and extend shelf life.
1.5 cups water, the earth, the universe, spirit, life itself.
1/4 ounce active dry yeast. It sounds like so little, but well used will grow and expand, giving itself to form the loaf. This bread is leavened with love.
Steps. Combine the flours together, the character of each enhancing the others. Add the sugar and yeast, the sweet and the holy, to the warm waters of life, inviting love to bloom. Mix in the blended flours slowly, gently, to form a simple ball of dough. Add seeds, promise to the bake. Sprinkle nuts and salt, truth and whimsy, and balance with the oil of wisdom.
Knead by hand, stretching, reshaping, challenging, conforming. Comforting, excuse me, not conforming. Massage until smooth, but do not overwork. There is an art in knowing when to let go and give it time. Allow to rise. Marvel in the transformation as bread takes form. Love lifting all.
Bake in a warm oven, a warm, nurturing oven. Enjoy with others. Make again and again, tweaking proportions, ingredients, and timing as you will. Each loaf a new creation. When you are ready, pass the recipe on together with all you have learned, so this bread is always fresh. Feed one another.
This is our Thanksgiving bread communion. It is adapted from Reverend Sherry Prudhomme's writings. The ritual of breaking bread together is one that has been shared by the human family in various forms for millennia, giving thanks for the harvest, a prayer that earth will sustain life once again. In the Christian tradition, the disciples broke bread together during a Passover meal, remembering an escape to freedom on the eve of crucifixion, when yet another imperial ruling power was asserting its dominance through violence. They broke bread together in the depth of their grief and fear, asserting that the forces of empire, violence, and evil would not extinguish the forces of life and love. Many of our partner churches in Transylvania hold a communion of remembrance 4 times a year: Christmas, Easter, Pentecost, and Thanksgiving, which is celebrated as a religious holiday in September. Our congregation practices a free and open communion. Everyone here is invited to participate without reservation.
And so it is. And so it is that we come to gather around this space, our communion space. This ritual connects us in ways that we can only begin to know through time and space, to our history, to all the people who have looked into each other's eyes across this table through the years, to the earth and the cycle of life. This morning, we are going to do bread communion a little bit differently, because the times we are living in call for new ways to lean into the depths of ancient ritual.
In a moment, the ushers will pass baskets of bread among you. Those watching online, please get your bread now. This bread was made with care by Sylvia Stringer. Take a piece of bread, but please don't eat it immediately. Just hold on to it. If you need gluten-free bread, please raise your hand and one will make its way to you. Ushers, can you come on up, please? If you need gluten-free, please raise your hand. And as the bread is being passed out, go for it, ushers. We will hum "Comfort Me." Let's go ahead and sing it together. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Be with me. Be with me, be with me, be with me, oh my soul. Be with me, be with me, be with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Thank you, ushers. Make sure you get a piece of bread for yourselves. So now you're invited to look around you. Look across the room from you. Those who are online, you can look around the room as well. Maybe we can move the camera around the room. Let us know ourselves as one body, a body broken in our humanness, complicit and impacted by systems of oppression that were established long before any of us were born, broken-hearted as our compassion leads us to feel our suffering and that of others. In a moment, the bell will sound, and I invite you to break your bread, and with it, allow your heart to break open. Break the bread, but do not eat it. Hold the broken bread and notice what wells up in your broken heart in this moment, in this week, in this year. In our shared silence, allow a word or phrase to come to you that gives voice to some of the grief, fear, pain, or suffering on your heart. When the bell rings a second time, you're invited to speak this word or phrase out into our shared sacred space, allowing words to tumble over words, trusting the whole that is larger than any one of us to hold it all. Let us enter into a time of shared silence and the breaking of bread. You may break your bread now and allow your heart to break open. Now you're invited to speak this word or phrase out into our shared sacred space that gives voice to some of the grief, fear, or pain or suffering on your heart. For all of the words that feel too tender to share.
In this space of our community, gathered in a circle, having given voice to our grief and pain, let us notice the larger forces that hold us. The earth, its large body which holds us, sustains us, and gives us life. The floor, walls, and roof of this building, the ultimate mystery, the source and sustenance of all creation that some call God. The abiding force of love that holds us and will never let us go. There is so much for us to be grateful for. So much love and care, passion and dedication present right here in this circle. Our life together as a community is a blessing. And each of us is a tapestry woven of experiences and understandings for which we can be grateful. In a moment, the bell will sound again, and you are invited into a time of meditation. Hold your pieces of bread and look at them closely. See the miracle of it, made from earth and water, warmed by fire. As you notice the texture and smell of the bread, let into your awareness your own gratitude for all that gives you life and sustains you. What do you have to be grateful for in this moment, in this week, in this month, in this year? If you wish, allow a word or phrase to form that gives voice to your gratitude. When the bell rings again, you are invited to speak this word or phrase out into our shared sacred space, allowing words to tumble over words, trusting they will be held in the great web of all existence. Let us enter into a time of shared silence and meditation.
You may name your word or phrase that you have to be grateful for now. Having honored both our grief and our gratitude in this circle, we now serve ourselves while being held in this community. Before you serve yourself, look into one another's faces and see there the brokenness and the blessing, the reflection of our common humanity. To eat of the fruit of the vine, to be nourished, to notice once again that the forces of life and love persist.
You are now invited to eat your bread while acknowledging the community around you in the room and on the screen if you are at home. Take it into your mouth. Give thanks for the hands that grew the ingredients, the hands that made it into bread, and your hands which are giving you nourishment now.
May this bread nourish us as this community nourishes us. May all who hunger have sustenance. May we work towards a world where we all have what we need to sustain us. Amen. As many of us gather around holiday tables this week and in the weeks ahead, we're aware that our tables will look different this year. There will be people missing from our tables. The food might be a little different this year. I've heard that because of changes in the weather, also known as global warming, the cranberry harvest was affected this year, and canned cranberry sauce is in short supply. This might be sacrilege to talk about on Cape Cod. I don't even know if you're allowed to have canned cranberry sauce here. But it's a staple in my parents' house. And every year I would mail a pound of cranberries from Annie's Crannies, also from Bill's Bog when Bill was doing it, to my grandmother so that she could make her homemade sauce, which she loved so much, but the rest of us, not so much. This is the first year that she isn't with us, so I mailed the cranberries to other loved ones in her memory. And what's true is our table is going to have empty spaces this year. Maybe yours is too. As we wrap up this month on change, that change will be apparent in how and why we gather this year. Some people will still not gather with others because of COVID. Some will bring COVID home after their gatherings. This is what it means to live in this reality. And for those who celebrate Thanksgiving, we will gather this Thursday mindful of our history that Twinks mentioned in our time for all ages this morning. We're also mindful of many whose tables will not be filled with food because of food scarcity, because of economic status, those for whom the bounty is not plentiful this year. And holding all that, holding the complexities of the griefs and sorrows of this life, we're also invited to make space for joy at our tables. Make space for connection, make space for gratitude, make space to acknowledge all of the tiny miracles that have happened this year. It doesn't mean that we ignore all the hardship, but it means just as we acknowledge that hardship, we also acknowledge the moments of joy and connection. Our gratitude for the people who are still here, who love us, who make space for us at their tables, who provide of their bounties for us. So you are all invited to make space for gratitude, period, and for gratitude for this community. For each of you who shows up on Sundays and at committee meetings and who says, change is a part of life, and I'm still saying yes to this place with all of the changes inherent in this world and within this congregation. As you go out into this weekend and into this holiday season, may you remember yourself to be beloved. May you remember yourself to be connected to this interdependent web, connected to this faith which says you are welcome here. You have a home here. And however you choose to celebrate or not celebrate, may you feel the love that is within us and among us, holding you as you move through your days. May you find nourishment, physical, spiritual, and emotional nourishment from your communities, and may you provide it for others. Amen.
The chorus to this song is printed in the bulletin, the order of service, so I can use some help on it. So I'll sing it through once, and some of you, I think, know this song, and then we'll let you give it a try here.
We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in passion, some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Let's try it. We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I'm alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced on the brink of wisdom, impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it be my crime. In humility, I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We live we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who've gone before me band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, but we never noticed they were there. We can balance on the back of wisdom, never recognizing we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings we live beside. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Will you please rise for our benediction? Turn to a neighbor and say, "I'm glad you're here." Turn to another neighbor and say, "I'm glad you're here." Take that gladness out with you into the world, and please join us for coffee hour in the parish room.